We're going to be starting on the new PowerPoint on the Cold War, a new unit. Make sure you have your study guide available to fill out. Get ready for your first question. How was Germany and its former capital, Berlin, divided after World War II? And your first definition is going to be what the Iron Curtain is. So be ready for those first two. All right. So you see from our title slide, Cold War, origins 1960s, what we'll be talking about. We got United States on one side, Soviet Union on the other side. First, we're going to talk about different types of diplomacy. All right, we have hot war. Hot war is where this is actual warfare. All talks have failed, and the armies are fighting. Think World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. Warm war. This is where talks are still going on, and there would always be a chance of peaceful outcome. Armies, navies, etc., to be mobilized, and war plans to be put into operation, ready for the command to fight. Think about World War I. After the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, but before the actual war started, when France and Britain and Germany and Russia were all mobilizing their troops. Cold War. This term is used to describe the relationship between America and the Soviet Union from 1945 to 1980. Neither side ever fought the other. The consequences would have been too appalling. They could not fight the war because the whole world would have been destroyed. So we have a divided Europe. Your first definition there, Iron Curtain of communism. So the Iron Curtain divides Western Europe as democratic, Eastern Europe is communist. That's the Iron Curtain divides those two areas. Eastern Europe is dominated by the USSR. All right, you see a picture of the USSR flag there. There's Joseph Stalin. All right, when we look at that map here, the red line is the Iron Curtain dividing Europe. Okay, on the left is Western Europe, West Germany, Austria, Italy, France, Belgium, Netherlands, England over here, all democratic. On the right here are communists. East Germany, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, Yugoslavia, USSR. Those are all communists on the Eastern Europe. All right. So Germany and Japan are going to be transformed. Your first question, how was Germany's former capital, Berlin, divided after World War II? So Germany and Berlin divided into four sectors. The country divided into four sectors, and the capital city of Berlin are divided into four sectors. Each of the winning allies, Britain, United States, France, and USSR, each got a sector of the Germany and Berlin to occupy. If you look at our map here, the green is British, the purple is France, the orange color is United States, and the reddish color is Soviet Union. And inside Soviet Union, East Germany, is Berlin, the former capital city, and the capital of Berlin was also divided into France, British, United States, and Soviet Union. These lines going into Berlin from the west are air corridors where airplanes are allowed to fly and not be shot down. They'll be important later. We'll talk about them in a little bit. If you look at a close-up of Berlin, again, France, Britain, America, and then Soviet Union all had their own zone of Berlin to occupy. Also, repercussions for Germany after World War II, military is disbanded. No more German military at this point. Nazi party is outlawed. There's a new West German democratic constitution, all right, giving people all the rights from the Enlightenment in the United States Bill of Rights. Lessons of the Holocaust. Germany did pay some financial compensation to surviving Jews and other victims enter Israel. There's still a lot of controversy because a lot of the things stolen from victims of the Holocaust, artwork, paintings, stuff like that, have not been returned, and some of them are still in private museums or private hands. All right. Number 3 here, Nazi party outlawed. It is illegal in Germany to have any Nazi paraphernalia. And you can't have anything from the war. No swastika flags, nothing like that. All right. You can be arrested for that. That's one exception to free speech they think is very important. I read last year there was a neo-Nazi in Germany. He had a big swastika tattoo on his back. He went to the public swimming pool, took off his shirt to go swimming. Everybody saw his swastika. He was arrested. All right. Even something so simple as doing the Nazi salute. There was an American tourist a couple years ago. He thought it was funny to do a Nazi salute. First thing that happened is someone punched him in the face and knocked him out. Then the police came, asked what happened. They were told he did a Nazi salute, and the American who got knocked out for doing the salute was arrested. Okay, they take it very seriously in Germany that all the Nazi party stuff is outlawed. Japan also became democratic. Question 2 there for you. Just like Germany was occupied by the United States after World War II, but unlike Germany, only the United States occupied Japan. It was not divided into different zones of responsibility. Japan's military is disbanded, just like Germany's. There were war crime trials in Japan, like the Nuremberg trials. They did not try as many people, and they were actually cut short, not because they didn't have people who committed crimes, but the United States needed Japan's cooperation against the Soviet Union in the Cold War, so most of the trials were cut short. The U.S. wanted to end Japanese militarism and create a democratic government because they needed an ally against the Soviet Union in the Cold War. General Douglas MacArthur, he was the one sent over to Japan to be in charge of the occupation. Number 2 here, Japan's military disbanded. Officially, Japan doesn't have a military even right now. They call it the Japanese Self-Defense Force. It has an army, it has a navy, it has an air force, but they are limited by the Japanese constitution to thus defending Japan. They can't send their troops anywhere else. They have to stay and defend Japan. There's been a lot of debate recently in Japan about getting rid of that and having regular military because they are worried about Korea, North Korea, and China, which are close neighbors to them, and they want to be able to have the ability to move the army where they want to go in case they need to do that. All right. Japan had a new constitution with the help of the United States. We sent constitutional scholars to help them. It was modeled after the U.S. Constitution and the British Constitution, and just like Britain, they have a constitutional monarchy. So just like Britain has a queen, Japan has the emperor. They are figureheads. They don't have any real power, but they are still there. All right. So you set up a democratic government. Japanese people got basic rights, just like in the Enlightenment. In the U.S. Bill of Rights, all those rights were afforded to Japan. And Japan had to disband the overseas empire. China is really happy. All the Japanese troops had to leave China. Any place Japan took over during the war was given back to the people or the countries that were there before. This flow chart shows Japan's new government. Only thing you really need to remember is that their parliament is called a Diet. Okay, they have a 2-chamber parliament, House of Representatives, House of Councilors, very similar to Britain's parliament. But the main thing to remember on this whole flow chart is their parliament name is the Diet. We're going to have 2 superpowers, which is another your definition. All right. And also question 3, superpower is strongest countries in the world. You have U.S. and USSR. For question 3, the difference between the two, very simple. United States democratic, USSR was communist. That was the main difference between the two, and those are opposed to each other, democracy and communism. Both came to dominate the world. Both were enemies, pretty much almost from the month that World War II ended. Both sides knew they were going to be enemies. All right. Both have the A-bomb. United States had it first. USSR got it, I believe, in 1948. After they had spies give them information from the United States A-bomb project, they were going to make their own. All right. How they become the 2 superpowers? Basically, Britain and France, who were big powers before World War II, they were in decline. They were bankrupt from the war. Lots of damage in Britain from bombing. France was pretty much destroyed from the fighting all across France to get to Germany. Both drained by World War II. Both owed a lot of money. I mean, rationing in Britain pretty much went on until the 1950s because they were pretty much bankrupt. All right. And if you see our flag, our map here, United States is in dark blue, and everybody in the light blue are allies of the United States in the Cold War. So we have all of North America, we have Central America, South America, Western Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Philippines, and Japan, and then South Korea. And then Soviet Union's in the red. Their countries they control are these ones in Eastern Europe. The yellow are other communist countries, China, North Korea, Yugoslavia, remember, which is communist in Eastern Europe but not controlled by Soviet Union. And over here is the Cuba. Okay, that's going to end the first part of Cold War PowerPoint. Ms. Maloney is going to take up part 2. I will see you when we start doing part 3. After, I'll be taking that one up next. All right, stay safe, stay inside, and hopefully I'll see you soon.